I've been looking at some popular designs from a bunch of different characters lately, and a stray thought kind of hit my brain, and now I just want to pour my observations all over the place like some freshly made cookie batter dumped in a piranha tank. It's been almost 4, coming on 5 months now since I've actually uploaded anything. Largely my fault. I got too caught up in trying to make some really big videos like my Slated Princess one, so I'm trying to make something a lot smaller. Hopefully this one is sub 5 minutes, and if it's not, I guess I'm going to be talking really fast to compensate in the same way that you compensate for not having gasoline by pissing in the intake, I guess. Anyways, teeth. Good for eating and opening stubborn bottles with shitty packaging. They're also really good things to play around with when you're designing your characters. You see, I've recently started wondering why it was that we made certain associations with different kinds of teeth, animal, human, that kind of thing. And to that you might say something like, Blanky, you spaz. It's simple. Pointy teeth means scary, round teeth means friendly. And I'm looking at someone with no teeth right now. And to that, first off viewer, fuck you, I have teeth, see? Secondly, it's not really so cut and dry. Sure, you could say that pointy teeth are for predators and blunt teeth are for prey and humans, and you'd be right, up to a point, because like in all things artistic, one of those fundamental things in how they work, it's kind of the point to twist and subvert those base things with intent to make your designs more effective for whatever you're trying to use them for. Why is it that in some cases we find normal human teeth to be freaky? And in my opinion, human teeth have a lot more potential to be unsettling or unnerving than that pointy stuff. There's also cases where not having teeth at all is part of the appeal and why it works in the first place. In all honesty, I guess it's really all about the context in which they're being presented, and I think that's kind of cool. Let's start off first with the plain Jane, normal, vanilla human looking teeth. You might think initially that there really isn't all too much going on here in regards to these kinds of pearly whites, but that's where you're wrong. Like all character design traits, teeth have been given a layer of intentionality behind how they're designed. Whether the character is a human or not, how clean are their teeth? Are they missing any? Are there too many for a normal human mouth? Are they wearing it like jewelry? Do they pick at it? Do they fuck with it? A lot of things can really contribute to how people perceive a character. Like I said, context is king in these cases. There's one part that I really want to discuss a little, being tooth cleanliness. At the risk of sounding like your dentist, I'll just say that while dirty teeth can be off-putting for obvious reasons, I've also seen some people play with clean teeth as a design element meant to unsettle you, specifically in the game No I'm Not a Human. Because while people do see cleanliness as a generally good thing, there is also a little bit of interplay with the idea of something being too clean, sterile. Think of the difference going on between someone's place that's in a pretty dirty apartment complex and finding a pretty clean but very clearly lived in apartment, and going to meet somebody in that same dingy, dirty complex and finding a purely empty place. Not in the way that the optimal male living space is empty, but like in a completely sterile doctor's office pretending to be an apartment. No stains, no bed, hell, there aren't even any plates to suggest that the other person's been even eating anything, and it's just so out of place considering the context of where it is. And those are the two big things that make any kind of teeth, or hell, any kind of design element really stick out. Context and contrast. In the same way, the visitors from No I'm Not a Human feature some very inhuman elements, one of the most prominent being their teeth. Let's look at this big lad, for example. The Pale Man is one good example of this. The body's lanky, emaciated, for lack of a better word, built in its own grotesque kind of way, yet the teeth are perfect, and his smile is much too wide for that of a normal human. It's the contrast between this conventionally desirable trait and the rest that's what's attached to it that really makes it unnerving. It's why images of animals or any other kind of non-human creature having specifically human teeth is so weird. Let's go for another example, but this time with sharp teeth. Here's a screenshot of Pennywise from It. Pretty freaky, right? It's not just because they're sharp, but because they're everywhere, and they're filthy. It's that general visceral disdain that people have towards dirty stuff, like if that guy breathed in your general direction, much less actually bit you, that stuff's probably going to make your arm turn into wood. You never know with that jungle juice ass mouth he's got, and that's kind of part of the fear factor, you know? Pennywise isn't exactly the most clean looking body wise, but the pure white makeup clashing with the yucky yellow razor teeth makes it really stick out a lot more. Contrast, like I said. There's also something more child friendly like Huggy Wuggy from Poppy Playtime. Big, fuzzy, generic fur, thing at first glance, but behind those lips are these really jagged, messy teeth in rows, multiple mouths inside. The more calming blue contrasted with those asymmetrical and plentiful fangs. It's simple, but damn if it isn't effective. You know, I'm not putting a lot of effort into this one. I just keep the outtakes. Whatever. I haven't uploaded in like fucking months. Now I want to look at an example where the teeth generally work for the character design, but not really for the purpose of necessarily making them scary. Like, it doesn't make them scary, but it works in general, right? It's a good character design element. It just doesn't make them spooky, despite, you know, and part of the design's purpose being to make it spooky, but blah, 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 blah. Alistair has been Hotel. I know this show gets a lot of shit for its writing and character designs, but I'm not here to beat that dead horse. And if I tried, it'd probably be more like sweeping up a nightmarish fleshy pancake, considering how much that series has been through.
I brought you a burger.
No, this isn't a criticism, just an observation of this design. You see, much in the same way Pennywise does, Al has sharp yellow teeth. They're arguably the most prevalent part of this guy's design, and in my opinion, I think it works. But at the same time, Al is often portrayed, or at least is attempted to be made to be portrayed as this big, looming, intimidating bad guy and scary. At least at first, right? And one of those factors to make him look that way is often to be his teeth. Classic, shark-like, sharp. They're not really scary though, even when he transforms. Sure, he generally looks cool, but not scary. I think part of it is how the rest of the design doesn't really lend itself to horror, kind of reminding me of a strawberry-flavored Onceler with a fuck-ass bob. God damn, you gotta kill your barber, dude. That shit's so trash that you got yourself walking around with. I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of bad. Who shaves the hair under their bob, dude? You know, this shit kind of reminds me of those folders that my teachers would use in elementary school to like block the kids from looking at each other's desks during tests. Oh, nah. Imagine being one of the most feared in all of hell. Got fools looking scared when they see you coming, but the moment that you pass by, they see this. Oh, shit, I'm off topic. Sorry. As I was saying, the teeth here lend themselves more to being cool than being scary because they're too, I guess the term would be uniform, I guess. They're yellow, but in the same way the design is formatted suggests that's just how part of how he looks, rather than just out of him being diseased. It's just a part of the intent of the design, I suppose, what with him being one of the bases by which the Tumblr Sexy Man was forged back in circa 2008-ish when Viv made the guy for Zoophobia. He's meant to be hot instead of scary. Another stray thought that I had about teeth was back when people were doing a bunch of edits of a bunch of different animated characters or real-life people where they were photoshopping out all of their teeth except for one to make it look like a really stupid-looking baby. I don't know, I just find the fact that you can just either give or take away teeth and teeth only, and suddenly you have yourself a completely different read on a character, even if that is literally the only thing that has changed. I suppose that this applies to pretty much everything else when it comes to designing a character, but focusing on just this one part of designing a character really makes it a bit more digestible, for me at least. You know, if you're expecting me to go on a little bit longer on a tangent where I'm going to be designing my own characters with these principles in mind, I'm not, because I just don't feel like doing that right now. I just wanted to verbally air out a relatively mundane observation that I made. If you want some high quality and effort, just watch my Slay the Princess video or the Pumpkin Rabbit video or my Chainmail Chasers video. You know, actually that one could do with a bit of an audio remaster now that I'm thinking about it. It sounds like I'm like recording into a sock. Oh, video's like almost 9 minutes. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.